Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Eva. Today we are going to do a full moon healing, but I want to focus on the sort of Gemini aspect of it because I don't personally resonate with working with the moon. But the archetypes and the themes that are coming up in this full moon and what full moons kind of represent to the collective of people who believe in them, which is vast and holds a deep code historically in the morphogenetic field. And so, even if it's something that you don't really work with often, like this is just coming up as a sort of context for how sort of shared templates can always be worked with. Like, I'm not Hindu, but I work with goddess Kali and Durga, and there's lots of things in those traditions that I resonate with and work with at times. And, the sort of neutrality that is required to see things clearly, and the sort of Buddhist teaching of allowing everything to be your spiritual teacher. I think this is a powerful time to really neutralize all of the tools and incorporate what works for you at the time in which you are working through certain lessons. And this the lessons of this full moon, the sort of themes around what's coming up now for illumination feel so incredibly relevant to everything I know that I've been doing in identity work, and this like massive threshold that I really find myself at in terms of like really walking into and living the identity that I have been clearing so much and working through so much false identity in order to really do and really embody. And this feels like a really powerful moment to work with all of the energies that are available for us through within us at this time, and those that we see reflected outward, in love, in neutrality, in understanding that they are all our spiritual teacher for our own enlightenment, for our own freedom, and for that of the entire collective. So this is really bringing into focus thought patterns, identity created through language. So we're always talking about that aspect of mindfulness that is like, what are you saying to yourself? How are you qualifying yourself in your thoughts? How does that reflect the identity that you hold for yourself? Issues of duality, very Gemini thing, something we're always thinking about here as we reclaim real integrated electromagnetism and all of this polarity integration that we do through the code. The higher mind versus this false ego, like conditioned mind. So these are huge themes. We're really calling forth in the code this last remnants of the old, last remnants of this conditioned or altered mind, this false identity. The mental architecture, especially around, this is coming through for myself and for this collective, around safety, around strategy, and around survival. So when we're thinking about these two minds, because that's the very Gemini thing, right? These twins. The true and the false cannot exist in the same place, right? There's this old adage of you can't serve two masters. You can't, two opposing thought systems cannot be operating at the same time, and you to be fully living in either. You split your mind in that way, and then you get split results, or you're living completely in fear and you're totally unaware of love at that time. To be totally in love is not an embodied experience such as we would know it in the context of our bodies now. It is formless direct experience, but we are working on the embodiment of it to reclaim this realm from fear. And so that's why it's so important at this time to be very aware of your choice of mind. So we really want to expose, and that's really, the focus of these full moons is that this light, right? The moon is fully illuminated by the sun. The moon doesn't have any light, right? It's a rock or whatever it is. So it's fully illuminated by the light of the sun reflecting. So the truth, the healing coming from the sun, illuminating these hidden shadows, really, really working with that. bringing the light to the nervous system. And if that resonates with you, the video we did yesterday, I think is a really, really strong companion for what we're doing right now. So if you didn't get a chance to see that one, you can work with it after you watch this or in combination with in some way. It really feels like a continuation of that nervous system strengthening. So yeah, we're really, really highlighting the creative power of language and sound, which is what we do here, and certainly the sound of the feminine power. And so as we integrate these polarities, we reveal more of the power of the sound, the power of magnetism, speaking things into being, declaring identity shifts and having them be so. Really allowing that vibration, those patterns into the world of form, informed by this light that comes through as we clear out false ideas. And so, if that resonates with you, let's take a nice deep breath. Letting go of attachments to anything at this time, feeling ourselves in the direct presence of our holy self, of the divine that we are, as we claim this as our true identity. Let the false be washed away from you. Let it, in the illumination of it, be burned away. Let it be replaced by the love that which you are. And trust that that love is communication. That love calls to all parts of self for integration. Kiriatoro kuniam natro orruhiriato sumsaki, shinisian sodotoya natro amnatayas, shokorhiti sinsi kinindayas notro, amayana worrokuri payas notro, hin sorrokoni hin sitishiasaya, kiniamatro aro sumsakinintishikia worrokono insi, siatao shokorrukaratro amnatroi, hiana hayakiara hiniam notroi sian shais natra. Really, really focusing on the spine. Again, these ideas of safety, of security, of moving about in the world, of the root, really re-anchoring into enlightened forms. Hianayan sondroao shumbor kiriatos, sia shoni hini kana womna trayon dorro korobisiti kaya korro yasinimat, yamaurru imata sansakiri hayashnatraya, hina womna trua soshorruiti kini andaraya saya nainiti anawoshi, hi okoyam natroam nashini ansaya suarroyata. Hia yonor tayatruam nasin jarato korroti karayas nashi, sin sitis natrato somjaoro konayandaya tianati. Kiniana horruin daptago sotoyoti shiriti saya sotoi shikinindriya yasanzakorayato, yom norro korro kodit. This is a very strong message of letting all be revealed. So we're making the unconscious conscious. We're allowing that which, whatever we were hiding from ourselves out of fear that we didn't want to look at, we're letting that be brought up to be cleared. But in that clearing is the truth also revealed, because the truth doesn't need to be achieved. It is your base. That is the true root. That is the true presence. That is the true reality. That is what God made. You. So it's this like twofold, bringing the unconscious, and then once we've brought it up, this is always the message, don't focus on trying to analyze or make meaning of illusion. That's never going to work. So just let it be undone. Let the truth be revealed. We're afraid of the truth because we think it's something ugly, but the truth is actually the divinity of your being and the power that you really hold. Hiniantayo sut, which you're always exercising, and you've exercised to make that which you don't really want. All of this separation, all of this difference that is mired in this false polarity of opposition. Opposites being irreconcilable. But we bring reconciliation, that is the polarity integration that we bring. And once that polarity is integrated in your mind and your acceptance of it as the same is the truth then, because the truth is one. And then that allows us to inform that which we would see in vision into form, to inform through light, through truth. We have very little idea of what this really looks like in terms of the form. We allow that to be. We don't need to concern ourselves with the how of it all, because that doesn't allow it to, because we can't understand that with our egos, it will catch us up and just delay, because you're focusing on the wrong thing there. So Spirit's really asking us not to be distracted. Hianayu torro kini ndoya samsakini tayanu, hini tayanu, oruhiria tusamsakini hina, shini sansatru ruhiria pao shansatrihi, kiana hini tayana torro kiniani, inimia shini troarotiptia tusamsakiri tishiri tion soto rukutitia. And this is important too. It's calling back what I was talking about in the beginning about working with different templates, or working maybe outside of your regularly scheduled programming of the kind of archetypes or tools or whatever ideas that you might work with, that expanding your mind into sort of accepting in neutrality all of these different ways of thinking and being really frees you up to, it's almost as if like hitch a ride on like to expand yourself more through them. It is this idea that we're like letting go of difference as being sort of dangerous or scary, or something that is like distorted or out of alignment. Certainly there are things you work with at certain times that you feel in resonance with, and then you don't. And but there is an important message of looking at all different things you haven't looked at before with new eyes, with the eyes of Spirit that sees the truth in them. Again, this idea of the spiritual teacher being everything that you encounter, every thought. You inform what it means for you. You inform whether or not you use it to separate and judge, or to integrate and accept. And this is what you perceive outside of yourself, and what you, all of these different parts of self that you hold as conceptions of your identity. It's not in the forgiving of them, in the bringing to light that which we are holding in ourselves. The outside form is going to always be an architecture of belief that is within you at some level of conscious or unconscious or subconscious. So in bringing all of this up to light, there's a really strong call to not judge any of it, right? To integrate all of it. We don't reject anything. It's not by rejecting it out of fear or like disgust or just like non-resonance, that we establish our identity in truth. Like, that's not how it's done. It's to see all elements of duality as part of the dream. Like, it's even the symbols for love are part of the dream and our representations, right? So it's about integrating all of it as part of self. And so there's no danger in any of it. And so this goes back to these ideas of security and safety and stability that we've been working on, and this rootedness. This is important. This is deep alchemy. Hinianayan chorro kunin saratu sumsakini tiana, shimiana trayo ruidia porukuro haya sumsotroesi, shimsaya sunchorro hiriatino tumnatratu sunsakoashi, singiaharaya tu hiamatus, shimahurro kunoyan sandrata sancha, Siasana hini torro kona matri isia sonso gorro itisio so, hini entayas no sonso korrikiri tisiam natri hi, hion chom daos no shorro hini andrahiriato sumzakiat. Horrokiriamahio sonso rohiriato, hini anayan shorro hiriatayasai. Foundational identity stuff. But this, we talk about the morphogenetic field a lot and the ancestral genetic and all of this, inherited in so many different ways, right? So extend what you are defining as yourself. I mean, that's Kini amahori pia shikarroho rumnatra. Shini tayana yini tiantorro kono inso yoshahu rukiti piata. Himiancha woso isi shitri hitaya suya piakuin. Himayon no arayas ni sindria torroho. Sha woso yanini himaoni shonoto asaya shikia. Si osotru tia unchi pies nandruyam nahin. Hia yishia torro hiniantatus. Shikinindro arroto yuntorro. Hinatratosum. Hinian shorro kunatratos oishia. Sipia kono hinsiot orro kinindri hianasum sorro kiniantisi. Shitri hinion dorro karatusum saish. Sorro kono indro anasan saoshi. Sini hamatra kayat o yapuarum yamahum natrum nasha. Very good. Kinayutu isi. All right, I think we... Nice. Okay. Very, very good. Nice release. Siata woshi kiniani. Mindri kiani tia noya samsakina yisi tia tayo no hishoru itiaki. Kia yani yamaoru. They want to leave us with this. Allow the false identity, which is based in fear, in pain, in anticipating the worst. Don't try to reject it. Just don't focus on it. When you are making the choice in your mind for which identity you will see yourself from, when you make choices in the world to say what you will do or what you will act upon or what you entertain in your mind or consume, that you remember the power of your choice. Remember that you get to choose that. That's where your choice is. Kimia toyasiya. We talked about this a lot in the last video too. And that self is delight. That self is free. That self is love. Let yourself be shown what that means, because we only have reflections and symbols of it here in the dream world. Which isn't to say that you are incapable of embodying it, because you just understand that it comes from somewhere else. It comes from the true self. It doesn't come from the world that you see. So let yourself make decisions based on the one true self, but you got to let that in. You have to let that self in and embody you. And the more time that you spend with that self, the more that it is, the more that you believe it is you. And so the more you are able to make choices from that self, the more that you focus on the world of dreams as a reflection of your identity, the further that will feel from you. And so we bring these closer now. I think we're going to end it. And there is a message now that some of this code has gone silent, that it is like vocally silent, we should say. That the message is movement is sound. There's a range of what we would qualify as sound by what we can hear with our like cochlear mechanism. But all movement is sound. So when we're moving through, it's like a vibrational pattern. Your ears might not be able to hear it, but the particles are still moving. You know, the wave is still moving. And so there's a message in that, which is cool. I'm into that stuff. Okay. We're going to end it here. Yaniana yotosam sayish in gratitude. Yatayas notroagi sinshi tayas natriani kiani andorro konayan situyo shokorro konatriatis. In gratitude for the self that we are. Kiashini triansia paurro konayin siatratis. And gratitude for the choice. Because if we didn't have the choice, healing would be impossible because the world would be real. We have the choice. We made the world with our choice. We can choose again. Thank God we can choose again. Let's empower ourselves to make that choice to choose again. And we offer that to all living beings. Amen. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. Thank you everyone who is a member of the channel. If you want to go a little bit deeper and communicate with some really fabulous people, I encourage you to join. It means a lot to me. Thank you everyone who is a member. The sun babies. If you want to work one-on-one, the link to book that in is below, and lots of other ways to work together. Very powerful work coming through at this time. Lots of identity work. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you next time.